father. Please give some mass love to Alfredo Tabares.
Well, thank you very much. And first of all, thanks for inviting me here. Thanks, Julie. Okay, well, it's just a way to start my story. That was back in the, around the early 70s. So don't be afraid. I mean, it's not about history, okay? It's a story. It's not about history. I'll be talking about a little story, a little personal story. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, as far as I remember, every year, back then in Christmas, I remember, my mom, my grandma, my aunts, everybody, all the girls in the family, everybody in the kitchen, making all that dinner and everything. And I remember my dad, my aunts, my uncles, and all the brothers and all that rest of the family, especially the older people in the family. That's classic. They gather together, and they got their own talks. They used to talk about work. Ladies used to talk about something else. I guess I was not paying attention. The thing, what it is that night, it's well, I was there playing with all my cousins, all my brothers and everybody. Then, as I was playing, I turned around and I see what? Christmas presents. That was the first time I ever seen those. My dad, sometimes he gave us presents, sometimes he don't. But that night we have presents. I know that. And I was just, I got amazed that we got presents. But then, later on, as a kid, I was like 10 or so. So, everybody's curious about, oh, what I got. I want to see, I want to know. So, I tried to get closer, and I see my name on one of them, the rest of my brothers' name, they're, oh, we got presents, that's good. That's good, but there is always a security guard there. There was an uncle, and another uncle right there, just making sure not to. Well, they don't want us to open the present for the next day because it was not even Christmas yet. That was there. They were there. I know that. So anyway, I just keep on playing. Running around the house and whatever kids do. So finally, I got tired and I sit down on one of those sofas and I was just staring at the presents. I was just, oh, what I have. I want to know what's in there. What's in there. And well, finally, so I was just keep on thinking and thinking, I'll sleep. So what happened next morning, of course, I slept earlier than everybody else. So next morning, I opened my eyes and nobody was around, everybody was sleeping. So you know what's going to happen. Everybody was sleeping, so I go there, I go to the present, I get my present, and I start, I don't want to open it, because I got to do not open the present, always would take that present back from you. Anyway, I was there looking at, I was shaking and going like this and like that, and, suddenly a bill come out. That was, I was in Mexico, so that was pesos. There were no dollars. So that was 10 pesos, which is like $10 here, now in this time. Okay, back then, when there was a lot of money. Anyway, that was a 10 bill. And I'm like, wow, I was doing all this after I got the Aladdin lamp or something. What is this? And, at the same time, I'm like, well, the 10, and you know how you feel the guilt when you do something you're not supposed to. So I look around and I ran out of the house, I just got out of the house. I don't care about what was in there. All I know is I got money. I got money, and so I went out, and it was too early. So I went to that little corner store. Down in Mexico, there is little stores, and on the community there, little grocery store. Not a big thing, but anyway, I got there too early. So I was there, just waiting for them to open. So if I would have thought about it, I'd probably be trademarking the Black Friday, because I think that was the first time it was a Black Friday for me, because I was there, I was the first one. So I was there, and as soon as the guy opened the door, I go in there, and there you go. I know my favorite candies, they used to call mazapan. I don't know if there's some kind of a peanut, some kind of it's like a Reese's, but without the chocolate. but not that sweet. Anyway, it was like a peanut thing, you know. Anyway, you know, I just gave the guy the money here. How much you want? Just whatever I can get. So he just got grab the thing. And you know, I know there was too many. So you know, as kids, you're innocent, so you don't know any better. So what am I supposed to do with it? I'm gonna have to hide it. So I start putting everything in my pockets. So the packets were like, you know, but I know nobody can see it. You know, I'm like, I got this hide really good. Everything's covered. But anyway, I was eating before I go back home. I was just keep on eating. You know, I was keep on eating. You know, when I get home, I'll find out my dad, he round everybody up. You know, oh, my brothers, he round them up, and he was asking for the money back.
Oh,
He's
no.
like, no, you get to keep the present, but I want the money. I want the money. And I'm like, what? Well, you know, I was eating candies, you know, but I was happy because of that. But as soon as I heard that, you know, I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So, you know, my dad looked at me and then, you spent the money already, right? I'm like, no. What's in your pockets? And, you know, nothing. My pockets were like this. But anyway, he find out that I get the money and I spend it all out in candies. So, you know, I guess he got the last laugh, you know, because, you know, before, he was mad, you know, he made a riot act and everything, and you know what? And I hope you get sick because of that much candies you ate. That's what happened. He's got the last laugh, you know. The next day, I was all day in the bathroom. And that was my Well, thank you. I hope you like it.